Franny K. Stein, Mad Scientist, Book 3, The Invisible Fran, Chapter 11, Sneaking Out to Join the Circuits. Aaron, Lawrence, and Phil crept quietly into the school. They were wearing outfits unlike any they had worn before. They were dressed like mad scientists. They had tools and notes and devices that no real scientist would use to finish a partially built robot. And yet that is exactly what they intended to do. They surrounded the robot and waited for one of those brilliant thoughts to pop into their heads. But Franny wasn't there with her invisible whispers, so they just stood there, looking at each other. After a while, Phil became impatient and decided to pretend to have a brilliant thought. "It should be able to squirt ketchup from its nozzle right here," he said. The other two nodded. "It needs to be able to extend this, like so," Aaron said, also faking an idea. "And I have a few changes I think we should make to its brain," said Lawrence, who sometimes had trouble changing his pants, much less a robot's brain. "We are totally mad scientists now," Aaron said as she pulled carelessly at wires in the robot's chest. "There's nothing to it," Lawrence said, recklessly joining circuits inside one of the robot's brains. "And Franny hardly did any of the work on this robot. It's really more our robot than hers," Phil added, and the robot beeped. Chapter 12. The new robot is a smash hit. Franny walked happily into her classroom. She was thinking about maybe rescuing more kids from stupid hobbies. She was surprised, as anyone might be, to find that most of her classroom had been smashed to smithereens. Note, for anybody doing the conversion, there are 10 smithers in an ounce, and 10 smithereens in a smither. Aaron climbed from underneath the smoldering chunk of desk. "Thank goodness," she said. "Another mad scientist to help us." Franny raised one eyebrow. "Another mad scientist? What do you mean by another? You're not a mad scientist." Lawrence and Phil climbed out from their hiding places. "Sure we are," Phil said. "You should have seen us yesterday." "That's right," Lawrence added. "And we finished the robot last night." "You finished it?" Franny shouted. "You're not qualified to do that. What made you think you could create and activate something that complex and dangerous?" The three of them just looked down at their feet. Then it suddenly occurred to Franny. She was what made them think that. "I have a very bad feeling about this," Franny said. Chapter 13. Fools plus tools equals busted up schools. Franny scribbled some computations on the robot's blueprint. She reviewed the notes that Aaron, Lawrence, and Phil had given her, and tried to include in her calculations what they could remember about the extra work they had done during the night. They could hear the robot starting on a new rampage somewhere else in the school. Franny finished her computations. Egad, she gasped. What? What is it? Lawrence squeaked. I designed the robot with 2 heads because, as you know, 2 heads would make it twice as smart as a regular robot. Phil tried to look like he understood. But you guys, well, you don't know the first thing about robots, or electronics, or science, or machines, or maybe anything. Aaron scowled a bit, but this was no time to argue. You see, because you know nothing, you actually made this robot twice as stupid as a regular robot. So will that make it easier to stop? Lawrence asked hopefully. Hand me my backpack, Franny said sternly.